They willed and ignited the NBA gods to get this ball to go in. That ball doesn't go in if he's still in Philly. That ball goes in Dallas. So my memo is to Nick and to Brandon and to Wilds. On occasion, I get a song lyric wrong or an 80s reference wrong. Occasionally, a mispronunciation or a stat. This is the reaction I want from my teammates. Not making fun of me because I leave the C out of a word. Not making fun of me because I get a song lyric wrong. I want all of this hoopla and hype and fist pumping, or I'm going back to Philadelphia. I'm just letting it, period, point blank, as you guys always say.
Don't leave us.
Let's take a turn. Let's talk some Steelers. Thank you, Brandon. Let me get back into the Christmas spirit. It was only 3 weeks ago this was the team to beat in the NFL. Pretty unstoppable, some people said. Visions of perfection danced in their head. But 3 weeks later, they'd lose 3 in a row. I'll stop my fun rhyming because we're not that kind of show. A lot of finger pointing going around these days. Most of it at quarterback plays. They did it again. Big Ben was asked about it. Take a listen to this.
I don't blame them. When you play like poo, you should get talked about like that. And so, you know, I need to play better. So if I'm not giving them a reason to talk good, then I'm giving them a reason to talk bad. So that's all on me. I need to play better.
Big Ben said poo. Hey, Brandon, what will we be saying Monday if the Steelers come out and they lose this game to the 10-4 Colts this weekend?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few storylines. The Steelers have real problems. Defensively, they're playing good. They're not playing great anymore, but they're still a really good defense. They're just banged up as the Walking Dead. Offensively, you got the big three, the big offensive linemen up front. They're starting to struggle, so they're not really getting pushed in the run game. Wide receivers dropping balls. But I think the biggest storyline is going to really be about Big Ben and possibly him being the weakest link on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And maybe it's time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to move past Big Ben. I think that's going to be the storyline come Monday, Tuesday, Jenna, if these guys don't get back on track and back on track fast.
All right. So I'm surprised here because Big Ben still has the leadership qualities that I think I think the Steelers need. Although I don't, there are some questions here. I saw a tweet today that Big Ben called a players-only meeting, but he specifically said, "I don't want to talk about the losing streak." And I was like, he's like, what? Roethlisberger said he called a players-only meeting, but it had nothing to do with the 3-game losing streak. So Nick, is it a secret Santa? I'm not sure what's going on here. Are we talking about the dance moves on the logo? I don't know what's happening, but to me, I don't know if I'm ready to say Big Ben is washed. It feels like his arm is a little bit spent. That's why, short of retirement, which I think is a bridge too far, I still think Tom would be like, hey, why don't we take a half off? Why don't we take a game off and get you in the playoffs 100%?
Well, it's very interesting you say take a game off because while on this show, people think I'm the anti-Steelers guy. Brandon picks them to go to the Super Bowl. I say Big Ben, is going to be old and washed by the end of the year. I'm zigging when people expect to zag because here's the problem with the analysis of the Steelers right now. It's gone too far. Were they ever a great team? No. Did they ever have any chance of going undefeated? Of course not. But are they going to lose 5 straight games to end the year? No. Should they be underdogs at home to Phillip Rivers? No. They're going to win this weekend. And when they win this weekend, it'll lock up the division. And that, Wilds, will give Mike Tomlin a very interesting opportunity. He can give them the bye they squandered over the last month. Because if they don't care about seeding, Brandon, whether they're 2, 3, or 4, then win this weekend, lock up the division, you get a home playoff game no matter what, rest everybody in Week 17. Give Big Ben Week 17 off. You thought you were going to have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. That's now gone. So you can give your team the next best thing, a bye in Week 17. And so I think they're going to beat the Colts. I think the Colts are a beatable playoff team. I think that they have some obvious flaws, and the Steelers are not as bad as they looked on Monday night against the Bengals. So I think they win on Sunday, and then Mike Tomlin makes the decision, do we just rest Big Ben, rest our veterans against the Browns in Week 17 so we can go into the playoffs as healthy as possible, and where our last game that we actually played was a victory over the Colts?
Ooh, Nick, I don't know, man. They may be going into the postseason on a 5-game losing streak. Let's just start.
Wow.
The Cleveland Browns is your team. You love the Cleveland Browns. I think, do you have the Cleveland Browns as what, a shadow contender? So, come on, right now we can right now we can have the argument, and I don't even know if it's an argument, but we could be talking about the Cleveland Browns being better than the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point in the season. But
sure,
let's get there later. The Indianapolis Colts, 2 guys present some major problems for the Pittsburgh Steelers. DeForest Buckner, probably one of the biggest Pro Bowl snubs in, the last 20 years. This dude is phenomenal. He can wreck this game by himself. That defense is playing really well. That defense presents problems because they can play press man, they can play zone, and they'll take away what the Pittsburgh Steelers do. And that's trying to get the ball out quick and all the little quick games and the little screens. They can do that. Big Ben, maybe they do some self-scout and they start taking some shots down the field. Maybe they start doing a little bit more play action, which they haven't done since Big Ben really's been there. So it may be a Big Ben thing why they don't even utilize the play action. But that's going to be a real problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense who's struggling. And then when you go to the Indianapolis side, the offensive side, Phillip Rivers, he's probably the most undervalued quarterback in the last 30 years. I'm saying it right now. He's playing as a top 5 quarterback, and nobody's talking about this guy. Look,
because
the Pittsburgh Steelers, for the first time in a long time, is playing man-to-man coverage, and Phillip Rivers, as we know, will try you if you give him opportunities. And look, it could go the other way, but he hasn't shown that in the last 5 or 6 weeks. He's been taking care of the ball, and it can get real dangerous for the Pittsburgh Steelers because of Phillip Rivers, Nick.
I don't want to talk here. I can't deal with anything Brandon just said about Phillip Rivers. Jenna, move on to JuJu. I can't deal with it. I can't do it.
So let's talk about JuJu, which is the other Steelers storyline. JuJu and his logo dancing. Much like Wild's green tie, it had officially become a distraction. On Tuesday, Mike Tomlin said he would talk to his wideout about it. That talk apparently happened because yesterday JuJu said he would stop the shenanigans, quote, for the betterment of myself and my teammates. That was a delay reaction by you, Wilds. Brandon, you buying that we've seen the last of this?
Tomlin talking about my tie.
Yeah, 100%. As far as the dancing on the team logos before the game, yeah, this is done. We will never see this again. Right now, see, this is the tough part about being a professional athlete. When it's working, it's great, right? But when it isn't, it's all bad because you have millions of people, okay, listening to us talking heads talk about how bad you have been playing and how terrible this is, right? Because you are a wide receiver that for the past 2 years haven't averaged more than 50 yards a game. That is a problem. So now that gets into your head. So this is over forever. Now, if you score a touchdown, if you go for over 100 yards, do your dance. I don't care what you do. But right now, Mike Tomlin stepped in. It's over, Nick.
All right, so I'm happy that JuJu, I think he's doing the right thing. I think he's doing the right thing by his teammates. But I have to do something I hate to do, and I almost never do. I have to issue an apology. And after the show yesterday, my wife came downstairs and said, Nick, that young man is doing those dances perfectly. And you said he's a bad dancer.
Yes.
You need to apologize. She said those are the exact TikTok dances he's supposed to be doing. You don't know what you're talking about, and you were so mean to that young man yesterday. So, JuJu, I impugned your dancing ability yesterday. I have been informed. I'm just old and busted. I didn't know that these are the TikTok dances. So my apologies on that very specific point, sincerely, and good job, JuJu, in deciding not to do this anymore.
You
My
lost
bad.
to the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost to the Cincinnati
I mean,
Bengals.
I feel like we should savor the moment if we're going to get an apology from Nick Wright. The Steelers may have lost
I'm
a
so rarely
distraction. The
wrong.
Cardinals have certainly gained one. We'll tell you what that is coming up. First things first.
Welcome.